right. I am super excited to get the exclusive on this one. I have the man, the myth, the worst hunter in the world, Dillon Deitz, on the Tricer podcast. And
What's going on, Drew? What's going on, everybody? And it's true. I might be one of, if not the worst hunter in the world. So fitting,
I'm,
fitting
I'm,
introduction.
it is, and I'm very excited because like I have so much faith in you that I actually told you, Dillon, when you kill a bull, I want to be the first podcast you go on to because I want to hear this story because this story is worth telling. I've had faith in you since the beginning that you were going to kill it. I wasn't rooting against you. I think a lot of people were rooting against you getting it, but you got it.
I did it, man. Thanks for believing in me. Few people have believed in me, and dude, we got it done. Yeah, my feet still haven't touched the ground. I still can't believe it. I've been trying to kill an elk for 10 years and dreaming of killing a bull for longer than that, but I've been actually hunting elk for a decade. This was my 10th year and finally got it done. So pretty cool, man.
That's crazy. So tell me about you. So we met through Cody Rich. Cody told me, "Hey man, you got to go with my
Mm-hmm.
friend Dillon. He's super funny, and he's not a good hunter, but he's really funny, and he can like make some great content. And you should get to know Dillon." And you've just been awesome to work with. You've been fun to work with, and just somebody who I enjoy like bouncing ideas off of, and just somebody in the industry who's just like a breath of fresh air. And it's been so nice to work with you on a few different projects and just get to know you and see what you're doing. And honestly, see you grow. I think when we started talking, you might have had 1,500 followers, and like you've gone up, you've tripled that now or something. And
Yeah.
your stuff, you're really growing as a brand, and you're really genuine, right? You're not this phony dude out there. You're putting everything out there, which I appreciate, right? Like I like guys who are like, "Hey, I shot a fork. Get over it." Not every animal you shoot is a giant animal. Everything you do is like this majestic pack out scene, which is everything was perfect and every hunt went great. It's the raw emotions of Dillon Deitz, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate the genuineness of you as a person, as a hunter, as a father, as a husband, as a Christian, and that's one of the reasons why I really like working with you and want to continue working with you.
Oh, dude, I appreciate that so much. And yeah, giant shout out to Cody Rich, man. That dude, like from my first couple videos, just took me under his wing. He's helped me so much on the business aspect of what I'm doing now and introduced me to great people. Like you were my first sponsor ever. And I still am a nobody, but even back then, like I had accomplished virtually nothing. My Instagram is not full of a bunch of dead animals and stuff. And for most hunting companies, it's like we want to show that our product leads to dead animals, right? And you were so gracious and kind to just bring me on the pro staff and hook me up with. I've been looking at Tricer products for years and just haven't shelled the money out on it. And you sent me a bunch of stuff and fell in love with the company. And yeah, dude, you've been awesome. And big shout out to Cody for introducing us. But yeah, forever, you look at Instagram or YouTube and you think like, man, I want to be one of those badass hunters. And I was trying to be that for a long time. And then finally last year, it's just like, dude, that's not me. Like I'm a goofball. Hunting is one of the most important. It's like church, family, like God, family, and hunting for me. And but yeah, once I started to I'm just going to be myself. Let's make a video about how I'm just making fun of how bad of a hunter I am. Because I think the vast majority of hunters feel like me, not the Cameron Haynes or Drew Miles of the world. We don't all feel like these big badass hunters, but I was trying to be that and just was like, why am I doing this, dude? This is not me. And just started making fun of myself. And yeah, we're almost at 3 million views now on my Instagram reels and thousands of followers in this year and sponsorships and money and a little bit of money. But it's like, this is the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. I didn't set out to be like a successful YouTube or like Instagram hunter guy. The door has just naturally been opened and yeah, so many cool experiences are happening. So after a year of all this craziness happening, to finally kill my first bull is very surreal.
Yeah, I think as a company, For one, I'm not a badass hunter at all by any means. I'm not killing
I
giant
think you are.
animals, but but I like like the normal dudes, right? I recognize that. I
Mm,
do recognize that like guys like Ryan Lampers are using my stuff and Brady Miller's using my stuff, and like that to the moon over that stuff.
amazing,
And
dude. Yeah.
amazing, right? And Brian Call's using my stuff, and Cody Nelson and these Cody Rich, all these guys are using our stuff, which is awesome. But at the same time, like those guys, while they're incredible and I love those relationships, what's really driving our company is the normal dudes who are using my stuff, right? And the guys who get to go out and
Mm.
hunt, you know, a couple weekends a month, and their wife's pissed off about it because they're already working 40 to 50 hours a week, and then they got their kids' little league game, and they're still trying to get out and hunt on the weekend, right? Those are the guys who really like, appeal to me, right? That's why you appeal to me. It's like the normal dude, the average hunter, right? The guy who's yeah, I didn't
Mm.
shoot a 180-inch mule deer. I shot a 3x3 buck, and I'm happy about it. That's where we need to get all these guys that like piss
I'm
on.
pumped. Yeah, dude.
I'm pumped. I'm pumped, dude. My kid just went and shot a little fork and wanted to be a 3x3 in Utah. He is ecstatic. But I'm so worried that if I post something on the internet, people are just going to hammer me
But
for
yeah,
my
and
kid shooting
that's
a
the one
fork,
that
you know?
no, dude, who
Yeah,
cares, man? Because
yeah,
didn't isn't that the hunt he like went by himself or with his
yes.
friends?
Yeah, with one of my friends, but yeah,
Like with
killed
that
his
stat, dude, that's yeah, but that's
huge.
awesome, man. It's like your boy going out and getting it done. I dream of that kind of stuff. You know, I can't wait for my
Yeah,
kids to not want to hunt with dad. Like, dad, we're doing a 7 day elk hunt with me and my friends. I can't wait for that, dude.
yeah.
That's so cool,
I
man.
I just came
Who cares
home
about
and
3x3, a spike? That's awesome.
I just came home from work and my kitchen there is a skinned out mule deer with the skin still all over my kitchen. His mom's not home yet. The skull's in a giant pot, and I'm just like, dude, your mom is going to kill you. What are you doing? But he's doing it
Hurry it up,
himself, dude.
brother.
You better hurry it up. Yeah, and honestly, he needs to be get outside. And if you've ever boiled a skull, they smell. Like, you don't want to do that in the house. And I'm pretty sure he didn't remove the
Oh,
brain.
dude,
And you
it's
can
terrible.
talk
I will pay.
to get
He
him
didn't
done.
remove the brain yet,
I don't know if he removed the brain. I got to find out if he did.
so
No,
he's
he probably
just
did.
cooking
He
the
did.
brain
He
in the
did.
water.
I hope he isn't. I'm thinking about it right now. I hope in the pot. I have a brain removal tool my friend made for me. It's like a piece of quarter-inch copper. It's like a hook, and you shove it in the skull and put a hose on it,
Mm.
and it blasts the brain out in a second from the pressure. It's really cool, and I'm hoping that he grabbed that.
Yo,
I
you
think
need to connect me with one of those. That's sweet.
I'll send you a picture. I talked to Cody about making them, and he's like, "That's such a redneck tool. Don't make that." So it's just literally just quarter-inch copper, and you just put it onto a hose and it blasts the brains out. It's pretty cool, like a brain removal tool. I should put a video up on like Instagram about it and then give my buddy the shout out for it. I didn't make it. My buddy made it for me. It's just a cool tool. But yeah, it is cool having him do that. But my point is though, is like the average dude isn't shooting giant deer. The average dude isn't out there for 14 days at a time, right, hunting, right? The average dude honestly
Mm-hmm.
isn't doing these exotic crazy hunts. Like he's hunting in his backyard when he can and he's trying to get it done. And that's who I really want to appeal to most.
Mm.
And the average dude does look up to those guys I mentioned earlier, for sure. I get that. The average dude does see me using stuff and he likes that, right?
Yeah,
But what's really going to sell him is like seeing his average friend using it and finding things right. If I can make the average guy a little bit better, that's what I want to do. I want to make you successful, right? Like I was out this weekend hunting with my kid and I'm using my tripod and my panhead, and I'm telling my kid, like, dude, I would pay double what I sell these things for this thing because it's such an enjoyable experience. I love that the average guy's using my tripod now, and I know people are finding more animals by using my stuff because it's just that good. And that's something that I really get off on. I love doing. I love it.
dude, 100%. And I hunt with some people that are way better hunters than me, and a couple of them used tripods and really got into using a tripod for black bear hunting because it's so glass intensive. I was like, do you really need that? And they're like, try it. And I put my binos on their tripod. I was like, oh, this is what real hunters do. So since
Yeah.
then I just bought a little $15 Amazon special tripod and slapped whatever Amazon special tripod head was on there. And just the change that made in my hunting was astronomical. And then so to start working with you, And that to use that LP panhead on a tripod that is lighter than the Amazon Special and 100 times as sturdy, dude, I it's completely changed the way I hunt. So I still get DMs like whenever I post something about Tricer, they're like, I'll get DMs like, how necessary is using a tripod to glass? And I'm like, dude, I know where your thought process is going, but it's something, especially for rifle season, I never leave the truck without this thing. It makes that much of a difference.
Yeah, and we are really in the people were using tripods for 20 years, right? Especially down here, like Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
like it's the desert. People have been doing it for a long time, Nevada. But we really are still in like the beginning stages of this industry and where it's going with the tripods. It's really neat to be innovating things and bring them into
Mm-hmm.
that. Did you see the new BP Panhead? Did you see the new Panhead
I've
I
seen
posted?
clips on your Instagram. Yeah, it's friggin' sweet. You've got 15 pounds on it at a 90-degree angle, and it's just holding there. That's what
Yeah,
kind of witchcraft are you? I thought you were a Christian, dude.
yeah, 15 pounds and it weighs 11 and a half ounces. I love when I design something and I'm like, I want it to weigh less than
That's
16 ounces
crazy.
and it comes in at 11 and a half and I'm just like, and it's just working incredible. So it's neat, but that's the stuff that's going to make people
So,
so much better at hunting. People are going to find more deer. Like this weekend, my favorite thing to do more than hunting. It's all hunting, but like more than killing, hands down is glassing. I will glass. If you ever go hunting with me, get a chance to hunt with me, I will glass all day long. Like we live in San Diego. We have the worst deer
mm-hmm.
population in the world. I glassed all day Saturday and finally glassed some deer at 3 in the afternoon. Most guys are like back of the truck and have left at their
Wow,
camp, and I will glass all day because I know that if I sit in that glass long enough, eventually there's gonna be a deer standing in those binoculars, right? And
for
tripods are just
sure.
they do that for me. So the tripod and glass, it's just there's nothing better. I can't think of anything better than glassing. Like going sitting out with my kid and just sitting there and just talking about God and talking about girls and life and just talking to my son and just camping with them and glassing is that is like the quintessential the best thing I could do. And I would above everything I do I love glassing. And so it's cool to have a company that creates these products that make people better at that and make the average guy find more animals and kill things. And now we're getting into stabilizing. We're shooting off our tripods and stuff, and it's just like I want to make the average guy more successful, and that's really neat. So enough about me.
I love it, man.
Um,
Hey,
Go ahead. So enough about me, man. Tell me about
oh, I
you.
was going
So
to
what?
say, you've made me better. Sorry, we got a delay in the audio here. Sorry about that. You can edit this out.
Okay.
I was going to say, you've made me a better hunter.
Okay.
100%.
Tell tell me about you. How did you start into hunting? How did you get into hunting? Have you always lived in? You live in Montana. Have you always lived in Montana your whole life? You grew up a hunting family. So tell me about you.
Yeah, so grew up in a small little town in North Idaho, like at the almost by Canada, last town in Idaho before Canada, and big hunting scene there, obviously. And the thing that really got me into hunting was I was born in 1990, and I forget when my dad killed this buck, but I think it was 1994 or 1995. He killed close to 160-inch four point whitetail, perfectly symmetrical 13 or 14-inch G2s, just an all American perfect big 4x4 buck. And I've been staring at that buck on the wall. It's the only one he has on the wall. And I've been staring at that thing since I was like 4 or 5 years old and just obsessed with, I want to get a buck like that. And still to this day, I've never killed one bigger than my dad's. I've gotten real close, but not as big as that perfect 4x4. I even told him, Dad, when the day comes that you die, I don't want your money. I don't want the house. The only thing I want is that set of antlers on the wall. And yeah, my dad would go hunting and would talk about someday I'm going to take you with me. And me and I have a twin brother, and we just couldn't wait to do that. And it started with him buying us these little youth 20 gauge single shot shotguns. I think when we were like 9 or 10, and
We all
started
had
going
those
grouse hunting with
guns.
my dad.
we all had those single
Oh
shot
yeah.
20 gauges from Big Five. It was like was it a Rozzy single shot? I think what it was. Yeah, it had. Did it have the like?
Yeah. It could
Did it
that could
have
be
the?
the brand.
Did it have the little like you cocked it back like a single action to shoot it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
same gun. I feel like in the '90s we
Yep. I
all had
remember
that shotgun.
oh yeah, dude. Yeah, we went to Black Sheep in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And I remember it was $99 for these shotguns. My dad went to buy it. Me and my twin are all excited. And then he hands his driver's license over. His driver's license was expired. So we had to go spend hours in the DMV. And every dad, whenever something like this happens, they're all frustrated, whatever. But yeah, so we get these shotguns and then we're terrified of them. Never really handled a gun other than a BB gun, scared of the recoil, all this stuff. And shot some trap with it and then went grouse hunting with them for the first time. And I just remember like having so much fun with my dad. And it's game over from there. Like all you want to do is go hunting, all this stuff. So on my 12th birthday, I got a Ruger M77 in 30-06. And that was my first rifle. I still have it actually. And yeah, so then we started deer hunting, and it took me 5 years to kill my first deer. I probably missed 50 deer. I just could not get myself calmed down. I wanted to impress my dad, and just disappointment over and over again until 17. We go out to this property we had permission to hunt beneath a 10-acre patch that my parents had bought. We go down there. I climbed up into this tree stand that someone had set there. No harness, no seatbelt, like the most dangerous thing ever. And I climbed up there and I just remember thinking like, I'm going to kill my first deer today. Like I've been trying since I was 12, like it has to happen. And this little 4x5 basket rack buck came out and I shot him and killed him. And getting that thing out of there, my dad was on the phone with the guy whose land we were hunting. And I'll never forget what he said. And my dad is the type that like he's not really going to tell you he's proud of you, but he'll try his best to show it. And I'll never forget like being in the car, my dad calling this guy on the phone and just saying, "I'm so proud of my son." And I was like, "That's it. We're hunting forever. It's game over from there." And then so yeah, hunted deer and had friends that hunted elk, but we were just not. We all killed a deer every year, got smokies made, and that was it. And then once I started hunting by myself is when this all turned into an obsession. So I feel like I grew up hunting deer with my dad, but that was like shoot the first doe, shoot the first little buck. But it was when I started hunting elk by myself and really trying to figure out that learning curve that this all became a massive obsession.
So did that start in Idaho or in Montana?
So I never had a bow in Idaho. I was working for churches, and we all know churches don't pay a whole lot of money. So I didn't have money to go buy new weapons and stuff. I had the old 30-06. I'd kill my deer every year, and that was about it. But always thought about, man, what if I started bow hunting elk? Wouldn't that be cool? And moved to Montana and in 2015, and then couldn't even hunt all of 2016 because I wasn't a resident yet. So 2017, I had a buddy who's a really accomplished bow hunter, and I was like, "What's a good bow?" I was looking on Craigslist and stuff, and he gave me some great advice, which I still use to this day. He's like, "Just go to Instagram and DM your favorite hunter. They're all sponsored. They've got a garage full of bows. Ask them if you could buy a bow off of them." And I started doing that, and that's how I got my first bow. It was Sean Luchtell from Heartland Bow Hunter. I love the Heartland Bow Hunter stuff. I think they tell great stories. And DM'd him. I was like, "Do you have an extra bow I could buy off you?" He gave me a great deal at the time. It was like the top of the line bow from the year before, and that's how I got my first bow. So I started bow hunting really in Montana close to a decade ago. I guess I went out a couple seasons toward the end of Idaho with rifle trying to kill an elk, but really fell in love with bow hunting in like 2017.
So in Idaho, I mean, 10 years, like I have a hard time. I don't consider myself a good hunter, but I tend to think if you hunt enough, you're gonna kill something. So were you just stumble? How did you not kill an elk for years hiking through the woods in Idaho? I feel like when I'm going on a hunt, I'm like I'm gonna have an opportunity to kill something. And when I say I'm not a good hunter, I tend to kill something whenever we go hunting. We have an opportunity to kill something. We miss. My kids will miss whatever. I don't kill giant animals every time I go, but I have a heart like 10 years, dude. That's crazy to me. What were you doing wrong? Like you're walking out with a rifle during rifle season. Like how are you just no clue what you're doing? Like, why are you not seeing elk, or are you missing elk on this time? What's going on?
Yeah, so I started getting into elk consistently when I started bow hunting. So this is when I got an Onyx membership. I was diving into YouTube, trying to shorten the learning curve, learning how to call.
Mhm.
In Idaho, I had no clue what I was doing. I was walking in my deer spots, hoping to run into an elk, right? But
Okay,
it's very rarely going to happen like that. In Idaho, I had no idea where to go because me and my family just did not hunt elk. And but in Montana, so my first year bow hunting elk, I shot a bull right behind the shoulder over a wallow. Never found him. Looked for weeks, never found him. And I've had that exact same story 5 times. So when I say I've never killed an elk, I have had bulls within range or gotten a shot or missed or hit one and have no idea what happened to it 5 different times.
it's
So I'm
crazy.
either the world's unluckiest hunter, but especially now, like the last couple of years, like, dude, I've got bulls within range. I had 8 bulls within range this year, and either no shot opportunity, I missed one, and then I hit that one, and we never found him, and I looked for weeks, and just heartbreaking. So, yeah, I've had the opportunity. It's just I don't know if I was cursed or what, and that's why I started talking about elk don't exist. This is all dumb. Elk hunting is stupid. Bow hunting sucks. I've just had my heart broken so many times, and yeah, I've had the opportunities, and I'm starting to figure stuff out. Never on any like big bulls. I think the biggest bull I've called in it's like maybe 320, and then just yeah, making stupid rookie mistakes like calling while he's looking at me, stupid things like that. So yeah, that's
Are
my
you
elk hunting
still
woes for sure.
so? Do you have a really bad case of buck fever?
I think so. Yeah, I think I have a really hard time getting calm. But like I've put arrows exactly where I want to, given them time, and then I've had the broadhead break off at the arrow, so you get no penetration, even though you hit perfect where you wanted to. Uh, Last year's bull, or this year in archery, the bull I shot was quartered away pretty hard, and I just didn't give him enough time. I bumped him from a bed, just like really awful rookie mistake thing. So that bull's probably dead, but 3 miles from where I bumped him out of his bed, and I'll never find him. Stuff like that. But even
That's
on a
tough,
rifle,
man.
dude, I have pretty bad trigger panic. I'm trying to get over. Like on this elk hunt I just went on where I killed my bull. I 2 days before I left for that hunt, I put a 4.5 inch group at 500 yards, feeling super confident. And then when the film comes out, you'll see me miss the bull I ended up killing 3 times before I finally calmed down and made a good shot for sure.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like my son. I feel like has got over it. Like my 17-year-old. I tell people all the time, your first kid, you want to rush him into stuff. You're like, shoot this 20 gauge, don't be a wuss. Shoot this 12 gauge, don't be a wuss. Shoot this 243, don't be a wuss. And then I gave him like the worst. We've had some pretty bad. He's killed pretty much every animal that he's shot at, but we had to overcome some pretty major um, buck fever with him, and he's gotten over it now. He's just a killer. But his first year, he shot the leg off of it. He was 12 years old, and he shot the leg off it. And then I should have just shot the deer for him. I had a tag too, but no, don't shoot my deer, don't shoot my deer. And
Mm.
he his doe, he shot a doe. His first year he actually killed. We didn't find that buck that he shot the leg off of. His first doe he killed. He missed her twice or 3 times, and then hit her, knocked her down. He had a couple experiences
Hmm.
like that where it's like he killed him, but it was like man, the first two deer. But now, since then, the deer he killed last year, one shot dead. The elk he killed in Utah, two shots dead. Both of them were kill shots, but it was just dead on its feet, right? Shot it again, hammered it.
Nice.
He shot an antelope, one shot dead. And then he shot this buck he shot last week, one shot dead. And like, he's very methodical though. Like, he's very stoic. So I don't know what it took to get over it, but now it's like he's like almost too. My buddy took him, and he's like, I've never hunted with somebody so stoic and so calm. Like, I'm yelling at him to put another round in the deer, and he looks at me and he's like, "Why? It's going to fall over." And then the deer falls over. Like, he's gotten to a point now where he's just like. At first, he was rushing maybe, and I don't know what was causing the panic. And now he's almost too slow and waiting to get the perfect shot. And he's making good shots, but he's also missing some opportunities with some pretty good animals. He had an opportunity like a 160, 170 buck over in Utah, and he didn't pull the trigger because he just couldn't get stable enough, which is good, right? But on the other hand, I have a 15-year-old,
yeah.
which is good for him to do. I have a 15-year-old who just missed a deer this weekend, and he's like, I wasn't stable. It's like, well, why'd you pull the trigger, dude? Like, you don't pull the trigger if you're not stable.
Yeah.
But buck fever
Right.
is it's a real thing, man. Even my 15-year-old, who I consider a really good shot, he's killed deer at 400 yards, one shot kills. And we're in Utah. He's going to pull the trigger. He killed the animal, but you hear he was he kills it, and I'm like, man, you were panicking. He's no, I wasn't.
Sure,
I was totally.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I was totally calm. There's no way you were totally calm. I can hear you from, with my earplugs in from 4 foot away. You're hyperventilating, on the trigger. It's a real thing, and I think maybe I'm speaking for you. I think when there's got to be some sort of pressure on you that's been relieved now, but there's been a pressure there where, like, you've missed animals or you've injured animals. There's something that kind of gets in your head where it's, don't do that again. I don't want it like, it messes with you, right? Like, almost
Yes.
like, I don't want to Monday morning quarterback the bull that you injured this year or didn't find. But like, you had an opportunity to kill that bull, and you hesitated, right? And unless I missed, you hesitated and waited, and I was like, why don't you release? And you waited till it was a worse shot. And is that just because you were just like, I don't want to mess this up? What do you think that's part of the buck fever?
With that one
like
specifically, with that one specifically, the guy filming, which is so cool. His name's Riley. He works for Montana Knife Company. Great friend, and so he was the one behind the phone camera on that bull earlier in September. Okay. And so he was like 15 yards to the left of me. So where the bull first stops, and it's like, why aren't you shooting? He was behind a tree right there from me. So I had to wait for him to clear that tree, and that's where I cow called him and stopped him. I thought I did make a good shot. I hit 2 inches further back than I wanted to. All I had to do on that bull was go to the truck for 5 hours. And we saw first blood. It was a river. I'm like, oh, he's going to be dead up here. Like, just stupid mistake. But you're 100%, 10 years of trying to kill a bull. There was a ton of pressure. Like, I have to get this done. I've had so many opportunities. And that definitely does get into your head. And it's such a stupid pressure to put on yourself, Like, why was I feeling that pressure to kill an elk? Because I want to look like a badass again. I want to prove myself. No, man. Like, I didn't need to put that pressure on me at all, but it definitely got in my head for sure.
So with that bull, how long did you wait before you bumped him?
Like an hour, which I knew the shot was back. And I knew in the back of my mind, like, that shot was further back than you thought. And it always starts with, let's go look for the arrow. And then you find blood and you're like, let's find this bull right now. And I knew in the back of my mind that was a stupid decision. And I just could not stop myself. Like, I had to find this thing. And when the blood was that good, it's hard not to. But it was a very tough lesson to learn.
Yeah. Did you ever see him bump up, or you just assume you bumped him? Was there a place?
No, we found 2 beds. You
found the beds where he was laying down and bleeding? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And always after that first or second bed, like, they're going to stop bleeding. And that was a heartbreaker.
I once shot a javelina and went to grab my arrow. I didn't realize it was right there. It almost killed me. And I bumped him. And it was, it's a stupid animal, but I tracked that thing the next day for so long. And I found where it bedded down and there was blood everywhere. And I think a lion picked him up and took him off because it was like, this thing was dead right here. You can see where his body was and there's so much blood. And I think someone picked him up and I was like, oh man, never again will I do that. But I didn't give him an hour. An hour to me seems pretty reasonable. And I'm glad you're saying that. So is that a normal thing to give him like more than an hour for a bull with an arrow?
So I have some good buddies of mine in Stuck in the Rut, if you've ever watched their
Mm-hmm.
videos. I grew up with those guys. We're from the same town. And I was talking to him, and he's like, we wait an hour no matter what, unless you see it go down. He's, if we don't find blood in 150 yards, we give him 4 or 5 hours, like no matter what, even if it was a
Wow.
good shot or whatever. And just playing on the safe side. And I've bumped a couple of elk now in my elk hunting journey. And from here on out, dude, I'm going to be, if I see the bull go down, I'm sitting down for 2 hours.
It's a good call. All right, so you've got into it. What else? Like what you've gotten to this point. So you've chased elk, you haven't got an elk, you injured this elk this year, and then now next thing I know, now you're like this sponsored hunter and you went on this hunt. How did this hunt come about that you just went on?
Yeah, this is a 7,000 some acre ranch that a friend of mine grew up on. So I've been trying to get access to this place for the last 3 years. And so how I pitched it, because I just got a camo sponsor. I love to joke around with people like, I might be the only hunter who has never killed an elk to get companies to give me money and product. I don't know how. I just by making people laugh and being bad at what I love. It's very funny, and I don't quite understand it all, but that's where we're at. And so I
Tell
was
me
like, I've got this piece of
who is
property
the
that I've been.
camo who is the camo company? Let's give them a plug real quick. Who's the camo company?
Yeah, Veil, Veil. They make camo patterns, so they're like a mossy oak. They make camo patterns. They have a couple of their own products and stuff. It's more for the whitetail hunter, like in the South maybe or Midwest. But they partner with other companies that are making like more Western gear. So say there's a new camo, like apparel company, but they don't want to make their own camo pattern, or they'd rather have Veil do it, then they hire Veil to create a one of a kind camo pattern for what this other company is trying to do. So Veil is who my sponsor is through. They got stuff on Tika rifles, Crocs, all the Shields gear, all the Sportsman's Warehouse gear. They've done patterns for a million different companies. So they reached out to me and said, we've been following you since your first video. We love what you're about and love what you're doing. Yeah, we want to pay you to wear our stuff. And so that was a long conversation and a lot of thought into that, because I was wearing Kuiu for a long time and put a ton of money into the Kuiu stuff, and it's really good gear. Sitka's really good gear. First Light. There's a lot of great camo companies, but people are weird on the internet, like when you switch products. So I was like, the gear has to be really good for me to take this on, and it's got to make sense for me. And so I got samples of Tuo. Tuo is the actual apparel company that I'm wearing in a Veil camo pattern. And I got the samples, and I'm like, man, this stuff feels really good, and it's performed really well too. So I'm super happy. But yeah, so I'm wearing Tuo, but in a Veil pattern. So my sponsorship is through Veil Camo.
Gotcha. On the whole camouflage camo company point and the different brands, I I intentionally try and be Switzerland for that reason, right? And I actually
Mm.
intentionally try and wear solids. I really like Kuyu stuff, but I'm like so like I don't like to be with like the everyone has different things I like from different companies, right? So like I love like the Stone
For
Glacier
sure.
pants. And I love the merino wool from First
Hmm.
Light, and I love some of the Kuyu jackets that I have. And I have a Stone Glacier like hoodie that I really so I try and be Switzerland because I don't want to like be married to one brand and have hurt people's feelings. Right? I tell people all the time, if you like, same thing with freaking freeze dried meals. Right? I have 4 or 5 different freeze dried meals I eat. Like, I don't try and be like, I'm only using this, or like, I'm
Yeah.
only using, like, I love mountain op stuff, but I don't only use mountain ops. Like, I don't want to do that because I don't want to be married to one. Because as a company, I want to be out there. But yeah, people can be really weird about stuff like that. People can be, hunting industry is like a very cutthroat industry. And I can see how you can get some slack for changing over, right? Which is so funny. People are so stupid. Like, I saw people giving you crap for hunting on a private ranch.
It's so
You know, give,
silly, dude.
and it's that guy wouldn't
Who
take, like, people,
cares?
yeah. Like 9 out of 10 dudes, if you
The thing,
call them,
like,
9 out of 10 dudes, if you call them
who's going to
and you
say no to
say, who's
a
going to say no?
private land?
Yeah, they're not. They're not going to say no.
Yeah. And the thing is, this property, man, it goes from the river bottom all the way up to 7,000-foot mountains. It's surrounded by state and BLM. There were 6 other hunters that we were competing with who also had access to this property. 6 people on 7,000 acres isn't a big piece of property. And I've been trying to hunt here for 3 years, and yeah, they finally let me come on. So then I pitched it. I have a sponsor, like sponsors now. So I pitched it to Vales. Hey, can you pay my friend to come film me trying to kill my first elk? And there's way more elk on the east side of Montana than there is where I'm out. I have no problem saying I'm from Kalispell because no one travels across the state to come hunt here. That it's very difficult elk hunting. And I wanted a place where there's actually elk and where I'm going to have a good chance at killing one. And I don't know what the big deal is about that. I had a guy unfollow me recently because I stopped wearing Kuyu. I'm like, I love Kuyu. I still run their pack. I have some of their gloves still. I still have a whole kit of Kuyu stuff that my friends are going to wear now, or maybe I'll sell it. I don't know. It's nothing personal. But it's if a company whose product I like wants to pay me to hunt in it with not a lot of real demands on me as far as like delivering content and stuff, they just believe in what I'm doing. Why in the world would no one would say no to that? And if you would, then why are you loyal to a company that doesn't even know who you are? You know, it's people like get really upset about what camp they're in camo wise. And my favorite thing to say if they get mad at me for I was wearing a Bass Pro hat in a video and that my son got me for my birthday. And he was giving me there's like making jokes and there's just being like rude. And he was being really rude about this hat. And I said, what's worse, wearing a hat my son got me for my birthday or caring about what another man puts on his body?
Yeah. The internet's
You
full
know,
of
like,
trolls.
who cares, dude?
Yeah.
100%. 100%. But anyway, so I finally got permission after 3 years of asking my friend, can I hunt your family ranch? And there's a wait list for it. And she couldn't get me on or could get on, but I have to get bumped. And it just all worked out to where I got permission this year. And man, absolutely stunning piece of property. And okay, yeah, so we leave at 1 a.m. from Kalispell. We show up at the ranch around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then we just go for a hike to start glassing. And I would say once we got to the top, we're glassing around, and it's just one of those areas like there's elk here for sure. You just know it. And it wasn't long after that we glassed up this bachelor group of 4 bulls about a mile and a half away. And it's just big rolling open coveys and hills. And we're trying to plan a route to stalk them, like put a stalk on them and get in range. And it doesn't really look possible. But I'm like, this is my hunt, boys. We're going to try, you know?
Is it
And
guide? Is this guided or no? Do
no,
you
no,
have a
no.
guide?
No,
No guides.
not guided. I took a friend of mine who also had tags, and then Riley, my video guy,
Okay.
and I was like, "This is my hunt. Like, we got to try. There's bulls right there." And so we put on this like mile and some change stock, 400 yards of belly crawling at the end of it, and get into range. And there's this bull, this really nice 5-point bull bedded. He probably scored like 280 as a 5-point, like really awesome bull, especially for a first bull. 560 yards, and we have a 10-mile-an-hour wind going left to, and I didn't take that into account because I'm stupid. And I was set up on 2 packs, prone on the bipod. I feel like I was shooting off of a lead sled and squeezed one off and missed it right. I think I might have actually hit it through the quad muscle. When it stood up, I racked one again, sent it. And in the video, I missed him by 3 inches on that second shot. And he goes into the timber, and we watched him for an hour and not even limping, 100% fine. And so I'm feeling like the biggest loser on earth. Like, here I have this access to this ranch, and I still freaking suck. And I had this prime opportunity to kill this great bull on camera, and now my failures are on camera. Like, this sucks. And it was a long hike out of there. I actually got within 50 yards of him. I got back up because we didn't think they left the timber. And when I saw him, he saw me, and he took off running again. And I gave it a quick running shot, missed him again. So now I'm feeling like I don't think I ever will kill an elk. Like, this is impossible for me. I'm an idiot. I'm trash. This is all on camera. This sucks. Will I get another opportunity? Did I just blow all the elk out of here? And so, yeah, that night was rough, super rough. And yeah, slept in the next morning, and then we're like, we're just hunting whitetails
Before
today.
you go into that, can you describe, because like I've had this feeling, right? The feeling where you miss, especially after, I guess day one is not so bad, but after 4 or 5 days, the feeling when you miss, when you want to just quit and go home, and also the feeling of injuring an animal, I think is worse for me. That's what really makes me sick. If I injure something, I can't find it. It's going to happen. If you do it long enough, you're going to eventually hit something and not find it, or your kids. I've had it happen with my kids, right? Like that one where he shot the leg off that deer in San Diego. I felt horrific for it. My buddy found the deer. It was my buddy's deer. We actually drove an hour to get there. My kid shoots the leg off this my buddy's deer. I felt just horrible, right? Yeah. It's just, you feel there's a sick feeling. Can you describe that? What's it like not being able to? Can you sleep at night that night, or what does that feel like?
No, I couldn't sleep like that. It was better on this one because we watched it for an hour. It wasn't even limping. So I literally grazed his hind quarter. And so that's easier to stomach, but especially after losing that bull this year in September, like I was like honestly feeling like I'm going to stop hunting elk. Like my heart can't take it anymore. Like, I put in all this time in preparation, and then, to wound an animal, even if he's fine, like, it still sucks. Like, you drew a little bit of blood on an elk. You didn't make his life easier. And so I was like, maybe we just hunt deer on this trip and we don't keep going after elk. And no, I definitely thought about quitting several times. I don't know. Yeah, you felt it before. I'm sure you've lost an animal. Every hunter has. And every time, if you don't feel sick about it, I think something's wrong with you. Yeah, I felt very low. My friends did a good job of trying to pick my spirits up. And so the next day it was like, we've got deer tags. There's tons of deer on this property. Let's just hunt deer all day. And we were exhausted from sleeping like 2 hours in the truck on the way to this hunt, and then putting in close to 10 miles that first day. And yeah, saw a ton of good bucks, passed a ton of good bucks, ended up shooting a really decent whitetail the next night. So the day after I missed that bull, shot a really nice whitetail for my standards anyways. I'm the king of 120-inch deer. I can never say no to a 120-inch deer. And really cool 4x4. Saw like 30 plus bucks that day, which is just amazing. So then, boom, my confidence is back. My spirits are lifted. And then, so the next day, Thursday now. So I killed that buck Wednesday. Thursday, it was like, all right, we're back after elk, and I'm not leaving the mountain without an elk down. So we hike all the way to the top again. Once we get up to this big saddle, we look like 2 drainages. It was like a mile and a half away. Boom, there's a herd of elk. A bull that we think is legal in it, but it's very marginal. So it's okay, they're bedded there. Let's leave them and go look for more elk. So we go to the top again, glassing. It's snowing sideways. It's a blizzard. The temperature has dropped like 40 degrees. Mule deer everywhere. And then we start picking our way through the saddle. We get on some more elk tracks. It's all right, let's follow these for a little bit. And we follow that, get up on a ridge, and realize we're only 900 yards from that group of elk we saw this morning, and they're still there. And I think that bull in it might be legal. So me and my cameraman went to make a push on them and get in range. And my other buddy took off after these other elk. So we ended up getting to 414 yards. That bed is just bedded there. That bull is,
What is a legal bull in Montana? I'm curious.
yeah. So no spikes. Has to have branch. It has to be branch antlered and have brow tines that are 4 inches.
Okay.
So we get a closer look at him at 400 yards. I'm like, bro, that's a 5x5. That's illegal all day. Just this little raghorn bull. Get set up on him. Waited like 30 minutes for him to stand up, and he was severely quartered away. And so I put it back and hit him on that first shot. And I actually ended up getting the lung on the other side on that first shot, but we couldn't tell. Like all the commotion, you can't really tell where you're hitting. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I hit him on that first one. And then I shot again, pretty sure I missed. Shot again, pretty sure I missed. And then he bedded down behind a tree that we couldn't shoot through, obviously. I'm like, he's acting hurt, but what the heck is going on? Is my gun off? Am I off? Which is the more like logical conclusion, is I suck and can't make a good shot. And so my scope only goes in half MOA clicks. So it'll go like 4, 4.5, 5, right? It's not quarter-inch MOA clicks. And so when I have a rangefinder that tells me the range and then what MOA to dial after I inputted all my ballistics and stuff. So the MOA to dial was like 4.2 and I had it on 4.5. So I was holding a little bit low to try to make up that difference. And so looking in the video after the fact, I was shooting right under him every time and didn't realize it. But so he stands back up after another 30 minutes of bedding down. I shot again, out of ammo at this point, reload, and that's where he, if you saw the video, he comes out from behind that tree and he's just standing there. I put 2 more shells in. I thought I was hitting high, I was hitting low. I dialed just down to 4 and just held it right on him and dumped him. So there was a lot of the sense of relief I felt like watching that elk just go down. Like I've never felt anything like that. I've shot some really good deer. I've killed some trophy book bears. I have never felt that sense of relief, accomplishment, whatever you want to call it. I've never felt that hunting in my entire life. Like I was tearing up. I was crying. My cameraman who was filming me shoot that bull in September and that heartbreak with him to like get that redemption with him. Dude, it was, I don't know. Like I told you, my feet still haven't touched the ground. And I've been telling people it's a little dink 5x5, but it might as well have been a 400-inch bull to me. That's how I felt. Like just unbelievable to finally get it done and to be known as the guy that can't kill an elk. And that's the running joke on my Instagram page. And it's given me a career or a start of a career, which is hilarious. People ask me all the time, what's going to happen when you finally kill an elk? Like you're going to kill your brand. I'm going to unfollow you, all these jokes. And I've told every single one, I don't care. Like I want to kill an elk. And if I kill my brand in the process, so be it. And since I killed that elk, I've gotten almost 1,000 new followers. So I don't think my brand is dying. And I've told people too, I was like, wait till you see the film of me missing 5 times. I'm not a good hunter now just because I got an elk on the ground. But yeah, man, just amazing. Just to show myself like it can be done. And who cares if it was on private land or not, dude? Like that was a 5-mile pack out, down 1,000 feet of elevation, up like I worked for it. So I don't care what people say about that. But yeah, dude, just speechless about the whole thing. It was awesome.
That's awesome. So what is your plan for that bull? Are you going to like shoulder mount that thing? You do Euro mount? What are you going to do? Where's it going? Over your bed?
Just a Euro. And all my trophies have been in the garage. I since moved them to the office of my day job so I can actually look at them every day. But my wife said, my wife is the best human being on planet Earth. And she said, for motivation, you kill a bull, you hang it in the house. So it's going, I got a piano over there. That bull's going right here in the house, baby.
Nice. That's awesome.
Just dropped it off to the taxidermist yesterday.
Have you got to eat it yet?
Not yet. I butchered it 2 nights ago, and I'm just waiting for the perfect date night with Caitlin, my wife, to bust out the tenderloins. You can cut that if you need to.
No, does she like when you walked in the house? Was she like, "Wow, that guy is like sexier now"? Like, she actually feels because for the longest time you couldn't provide for her, right? And now you're able to provide the meat and feed the family. The children aren't starving anymore. They're not going to be
Yeah,
malnourished
dude.
this season.
Oh man, I got home from that elk hunt. She was all over me. I'm like, let's put the kids to bed first. Like, you're freaking them out. No, nothing quite like that. But my wife has been so supportive. I hunted 21 days of 30 days this September, and man, there was days I didn't want to go, and she was kicking me out the door. Go do this. She does not care about hunting. It's not her passion, but she knows what it means to me. And I asked her one day, like, a lot of my friends, like, their wives don't let them hunt, and I hate even saying it in those terms. Don't let them. Ugh, terrible. Like, why do you have such an easy time, like, letting me go? It's not easy to let you go whenever you want, but I like who you are when you come home. And so that's my wife's thing. She knows what this does for my soul and my spirit, keeps me humble and keeps me joyful. And yeah, she's just freaking awesome. So I FaceTimed her when I killed that bull, and she's in the middle of a meeting. She takes the call. She's fist pumping with me. So pumped. Yeah, it was pretty cool, man.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, my wife has given up. Both my boys hunt, and then now I have a hunting company, so I have to hunt. So she gets
Yeah,
that right. So I have to field test, I have to prototype, I have to go out and do it. But yeah, she knows it's what's important to me, and I know I have to make up for it big time. And she's
definitely.
pretty
It's a
great, right?
give and take. It's a give and
Like,
take. It's like she knows at the end of September, I'm paying hundreds of dollars for her to go to get the best massage she's ever had, you know? Or there's been times when the kids, I'm going to throw them in the garbage if you don't come home. So I will leave them out and gladly go home to help. It's a give and take or whatever. But yeah, it's got to be nice too once the kids go with you all the time. So at least she has like some quiet time to herself.
yeah, and you play it like I play it like,
The
oh,
kids really want me to
I'm
take them.
I got to mentor them, and I have them in
I
the
got to
car
be
because
a
we're
good dad.
Christians. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got them in the car for 8 hours, and then I got them in a tent with me, and then I got them getting up
Yeah.
in the morning, right?
Yeah.
But there's also a balance there too. Like, I've got my 4-year-old at the door right now trying to break in right now and disrupt this whole thing.
For sure.
I'm also neglecting all of them too, right? Like, I got a daughter who doesn't hunt, right? So you
Yeah.
gotta try
Yeah.
and balance that too. So this week we like did a bunch of baking together. We made a bunch of chocolate stuff, and we watched a baking show. I'm trying to balance that out. And I got the 10-year-old who I'm bringing the 10-year-old out this weekend with me because I really want to kill deer locally this year, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm bringing him down. I know, like, bringing your kids really most of the time. Like, now my kids are old. Like, my 15 and 17-year-old are capable and they're finding animals. Like, they're actually,
Hmm.
I could drop them off now and be like, go hunting. But bringing
Yeah.
a 10-year-old with you is a burden. It is not easier.
Dude.
It's a burden, but it's important. And I bring him out, and it's hard for her to say no to that, right? Like, I'm going to bring my son out and teach him how to be a man, right? Like, I'm going to show him how
Yeah.
to endure sucky things, to get through hard things, to find animals. I'm going to get his hands bloody. He's probably going to get cut up this weekend. Like, it's going to make
Hmm.
him, give him some grit. And she supports that and she loves that, right? My wife's a saint, like you said. I just have a great wife who lets me do it too.
Yeah,
And
man. It's
and
awesome.
it'll get to a point, like, she'll tell me sometimes, like, you can't go. And I'm like, okay, all right,
It
I'll give
makes
you
it
this, right?
easier. Like when they say, I need you, it's like,
Yeah.
you've let me get away with so much stuff. Like I am more than happy to stay home. But but I know what you're saying about bringing the 10-year-old. Like I go shed hunting and grouse hunting with my boys. They're 7 and 3. My 3-year-old is more prone to stay out longer than my 7-year-old. So I got to keep him entertained. I got to let him play with sticks. There's a whole balance of I want to teach you something, but also if I don't make this fun, you're going to hate this and you're not going to do it
Yeah.
when you get older. And yeah, finding you talked about this on your podcast with Cody Rich. That was a great. If anyone's listening to this who's a parent like trying to get their kids into the outdoors, listen to Drew's podcast with Cody Rich because there was a lot of helpful stuff in there.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. So now you are, by all means, you are a successful elk hunter,
I'm
right?
the best
We're going to call
hunter
it.
on the face of the earth.
You are now an accomplished elk hunter. You've killed bulls. You can't say anymore. What's next? Are you gonna go? Are you going after doll sheep? Are you going to Alaska? What's the next thing that you're gonna
I
chase?
Yeah, I don't know. I just this year started applying for tags in other states, and I hate that I'm 33 now, and I feel like I'm so far behind the curve of building points
Yeah,
for stuff. But I just had this revelation the last couple of years. I always waited till oh, wait till I have more money, because why would I apply for an out of state tag if I can't afford to go there? But that was backwards thinking, because you, like anything you care about in life, you find a way to financially support it, right? That's what's said at my church all the time. You give toward what you care about. If I drew a dull sheep tag tomorrow, you bet your tail I'm figuring out a way to pay for it. I just now started applying for tags in other states, and I'm going to keep doing that. But the big thing for me is, like, for a long time of trying to be the badass hunter, hunting wasn't that fun anymore. And so my big
yeah,
thing is, we do this at the end of the day because it's really fun. And all I want to do is keep making people laugh, keep making fun of myself, keep poking fun at the industry a little bit, and that's it. If I only hunt over the counter Montana tags my whole life, I'm going to be really satisfied as long as it's still like fun for me. And that's my whole thing, is just keep hunting fun.
that's awesome, dude. I am stoked to have you on. I'm stoked to put this out there for everyone to hear about your story, hear your journey. It's been inspiring to see you continue to go on. Most guys would have quit. So, good
Yeah,
job.
maybe I'm
Good.
bad and stupid.
That's stupid. That's a good way to put it. But you got it done, dude. I'm so proud of you. So stoked for you.
Thanks, man.
You want to give a plug to, like, you're working with Veil Camo? Who else are
Yeah,
you working with?
working.
Some plugs.
The main sponsors are Tricer and Veil. Yeah, I'm working with Tricer, the greatest glassing platform ever made, glass better with Tricer. And I'm working with Veil Camo. And there's some other stuff in the works that I can't talk about yet, but I'm very excited about it.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool that you're going to be sponsored by Bass Pro Shops. And no, just kidding.
I should, just to make
Cool.
the haters mad, man.
Yeah, Gunworks is going to send you a rifle and be like, dude, I saw that video. You got to use a rifle.
Yeah, you suck, dude. Here, let us help you. I don't think a Gunworks rifle could help me shoot any better. That's stuff I've got to do for
Yeah.
sure.
But all right, dude. And then go find us on Instagram, Dillon Deitz, right? What, is just Dillon Deitz on Instagram?
Dillon Deitz on Instagram, DillonDeitz. And I'm going to be starting my YouTube channel this year as well. So follow me on YouTube. And thanks for having me on, Drew. I think the world of you, man. And this is going to be the best year for Tricer yet, dude. And I'm going to help you sell products as much as I can.
That's awesome. Thanks, bro.
My pleasure.